I know a lot of you guys out there are also pregnant, which congratulations, I'm so excited for you. Hello everybody, it is so good to be back finally. My name is Claudia Palmer. For me, this is my first time, so it's really exciting to have the opportunity to share with all of you guys. I'm so excited to be back and posting videos again. I'm actually pregnant and I'm going to be sharing my entire journey with you from start to end, and I cannot wait to share. So this video is all about early pregnancy symptoms, like before you even take your test, like how you could know, how I knew. I'm just gonna share my story, talk about a couple of things that I experienced. So grab your coffee, grab whatever you want to grab, your tea, your water, and let's just have a good little time here, talk about what happened, how I knew before I took my test. Oh, also before we get started, I literally just did my pregnancy reveal yesterday on Instagram. You can check it out right here. By the time you're watching this video, it would have been a couple days ago. I love to post over on Instagram, stay in the loop over there. Let's connect, let's be friends. I have met so many of you guys on Instagram that you guys are following here, and we've created amazing friendships over there. So can't wait to meet you. Okay, let's get started. Once I turned 30, we decided, okay, we're gonna start trying. I got married at 25, so it was like 5 years of just me and my husband building our careers, all the things, and just enjoying each other's company. I know a really common thing people experience is morning sickness. So if you don't have either of those, like no morning sickness, no food aversions, don't worry. It doesn't necessarily mean you're not pregnant, because I didn't experience any of that up until now, and I'm 12 weeks pregnant. The first thing that really stands out to me that happened that was weird was like weird movement in like my ovary area, like my uterus area. I don't know what you would want to call, like, you know, your lower abdomen. And I remember so clearly, I was standing like right over there one day and I felt like this, I don't want to say like a shocking pain, but like on my right side of like my ovary, I felt like, hey, I'm here. Just, I don't know, it was like a movement, it was like a pain, it was like a kind of like a shock. Yeah, I was very surprised to feel anything like that, because it was not like period cramps. It didn't feel like period symptoms at all. So I was like, oh, that was a weird jolt. It was like a jolt in my ovary. So that was the first big thing that I was like, I've never felt something like that before. The second thing that I experienced, that I kind of still experience to this day, is I'm out of breath. Like I'm kind of gasping for air for no good reason. You know, I could just be sitting, talking, walking. That was another symptom that I noticed very early on, kind of having to catch my breath all the time. I'm like, that's weird. I've never experienced that either. And I'm definitely caffeine sensitive, but it wasn't just when I was drinking caffeine. So I did notice it was even heightened when I was drinking caffeine. It was like even more, you know? So maybe feeling short of breath or out of breath could be another symptom for you. The next symptom I want to talk about is pretty crazy. If you are a good sleeper, I don't know, I'm a great sleeper. I can fall asleep right away, but I experienced just the feeling of being wide awake at night. Like there was a couple days there in between like the 2-week wait period, you know, from the day that we tried to conceive to my first missed period. There was a day where I was like, okay, I'm tired. I was tired, ready for bed, and I'm laying in bed, and typically it takes, you know, less than 5 minutes for me to fall asleep, and out of nowhere I just got hit with this like alertness. It was so weird. Like I could go write a book, or I could go to a social, like I was so wide awake that I'd never felt that way. Like I was just so alert in my mind, so awake, so like trying to just, I don't know what my brain was doing. I felt like my body was like, okay, it's morning, let's just get up and going. And it's like bedtime and we're laying in bed, and it happened a couple of days consecutively. So I was like, and I don't want to call it like insomnia or anything like that, because I eventually was able to just, you know, fall asleep. It took a little bit. I did some like deep breathing, stuff like that. I just tried to relax, and I did get myself to just fall asleep, but it was just so interesting how I was like wide awake when I was supposed to be falling asleep. So fourth one is I had no signs of pregnancy symptoms. Now hear me out, because I know it might be easy if you're in that 2-week wait period to be like, you know, was that like back pain because I'm pregnant, or because my period is coming, or oh, did I feel a cramp, or was that like a different type of movement, like things moving around in there, or you know, is my head hurting? Or it's very, there's kind of like a very fine line between the two, and kind of trying to understand, are you pregnant, or is that your period coming? And there was a little bit of that really early on, but I did notice as I was approaching my first missed period, I really was like, I don't think my period is coming. Like, I was telling my husband, there was one night specifically, the night before we found out, before I took my test and I hadn't even missed my period yet, I told him, I was like, babe, I don't think she's coming. I don't feel any of my normal, consistent symptoms, you know, like it just, I can always tell by my discharge, I can always tell by the types of cramps I was getting, my back, my, you know, like all of the things. And sometimes I would even get like a headache. It's almost hard to explain, because I'm sure everybody has different symptoms at a different like intensity. Maybe not everybody is like as regular, but for me, like I have like clockwork for years and years and years. I noticed I'm like, none of these symptoms that I've like already described are matching my regular period symptoms. So I was like, okay, I don't think my period's coming. And I was pretty confident. And that leads me to number 5. Alcohol made me, like it was just no, I wasn't like sick. It was just like not sitting well anymore. So I would love a margarita or something like that. And again, the night before I found out, we all hung out, we all went out with our friends. The first drink, it was just a small little margarita, and I just remember it not tasting the same, like just almost like an aversion, like a food aversion, right? I was like sipping and I'm like, you know, these aren't as good as I remember them. Like I really used to enjoy 1 or 2, right? And so I kind of forced it, like I forced drinking, because I mean, at this point I didn't know, am I pregnant, am I not? Like, I don't know, like, and I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, I think I am, and then be disappointed, and then, you do know what I mean? I had my first one, I was like, okay, as the night went on, had one more, and I couldn't even, like, halfway through that drink, I got the worst stomach ache. Like, my tummy was so upset, it was like, stop, do not, no more, like, this is making my stomach hurt. And so I was like, oh my gosh, how weird. I've never, ever, ever experienced that. And so that was a very telling sign too, because that's never happened, ever. So I'm like, okay, no more of that. And I told my husband, I'm like, this is making me sick. Like my stomach is upset. Like it just hurts and I'm uncomfortable. So I stopped that. The last one I want to talk about is enlarged or breast. I don't want to get demonetized. I wonder what a word is. Chest. Sometimes YouTube will be like weird and they'll pick up words and be like, oh, strike. Enlarged tatas. I don't know. But like aggressively more than normal. Like that. I gotta burp. Okay. Like more than normal, like that's always been a pretty consistent period symptom for me, but this was different. This was like, hello, we're here, we're ready. I'm like, and you know that at one point it was like pretty like painful. It was like, wow, like this is almost feeling like engorged. Like I'm like, wait, what? How could that even be possible? Like if I'm pregnant, I'm literally probably only like a week or 2, you know? So I know it could be different for everybody, but if any of these, like especially this one, resonates with you, like that could be a really big sign of, you know, your body preparing itself already for future breastfeeding and all of that good stuff, if that's what you're choosing to do. So those are my six symptoms that I really noticed before my first missed period.
Wait, hi guys, editing Goldie here. Well, my nickname on YouTube is Goldie, and I know my real name is Claudia. So, but we're gonna go with Goldie, it's fine. I just wanted to say something that I forgot to include in this video. Another really big telling symptom that I had that I forgot was joint pain. Like my hands were like swollen. It was like the weirdest thing. Like my hands felt like swollen and like my joints and my fingers would hurt. And in my knees were hurting. Like, what? Like never in my life. The joints were hurting. My knees, my like kneecaps, just like joint pain. I was like, what is this? What is happening? You know, like, wow. So I think that was a sign because never in my life. So anyway, that's all. Thank you. Bye.
And the day before I tested, I called it. I was like, I told myself, girl, you're pregnant. Like, I know you are. And I didn't tell anybody else. And then the next morning, I hadn't even missed my period. And I'm somebody that has a 32-day cycle. I want to say it was on day 32 that I took my test, and it was positive. And it's just really cool. If you are really in tune with your body and if you track your cycles very closely and meticulously, you will have a much, I would say, clear picture and understanding of what's going on in your body. You'll be more in tune, which I can make a whole separate video about that, about how I track my cycles, all of the things like symptoms, temperature, stuff like that, because it will seriously make your life so much easier if you are trying to conceive, to know when your fertile window is and all the phases, because a menstrual cycle is so much more complex than we are taught, than we know. And I just kind of fell in love with like learning about that years before I did start trying to get pregnant. So I'm gonna make a video about that if you guys want that. If you like this video, or if anything about this helped you or you found it useful, please feel free to like, subscribe, or share with a friend that's kind of in this journey as well. I'm so excited to go along my pregnancy with you. I know a lot of you guys out there are also pregnant, which congratulations. I'm so excited for you. If you would like to tag along, let's go on this journey together, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.